So we met with your current adventure and actually at a somewhat different version of your current adventure. So can you explain what XReality Pro is at the current moment? Because we'll come back to its origin story.
Yeah, sure. Right now we are doing a lot of exciting hackathons and workshop. And for us, we want to help creators, empower creators to use XR as a problem-solving tools. So that's why we are different from the YouTube channel or some video just purely watch and learn on your own. Because a lot of times, long time ago, I create a full curriculum and I launched my first version of X Reality Academy in the past. But we had a lot of students kind of desire more interaction. And also they said that, hey, if I want to learn Unity, Unity already create its own educational free channels, and it's all the up to date, the best instructors. How can we do differently? So that's why right now we are partner with, for example, we have a lot of really exciting stuff coming up. First one is Ship 6R Hackathon, the easiest no code pipeline. You only need like a 45 minutes. You can do start from Figma to ShipXR to Unity in 45 minutes, create an app. So yeah, that's one of the feature one. Yeah, and the other one will be we are about to kind of in progress in contacting Mozilla Hub. We will have
Oh,
another hackathon
good. Yeah,
doing virtual production.
with
Yeah.
their new stuff.
Um, yeah.
I
So
so
yeah.
love that you're at the edge of everything. That very much that you bring the best people to your Saturday morning conversations, and you really have been able to sort of lift ideas and opportunities and connect, which is really fabulous. Which is one of I fangirl your work as a result.
Thank you.
How long have you been doing XR type work?
Since 2017. I remember back in 2015, that was the first time that I joined Game Jam. So, and I get in touch with the Gear VR. You know, Gear VR, that time you need the Android phone and slot into, that view portal and which you need to put battery in. Yeah, I was fascinated by, I can feel like I am in another room, and I couldn't see my hand. It's very interesting. It's like out of body experience, right? You feel you are there, but you are not there. It's like that types of like perceptions, really intriguing me because I can tell you my childhood, I had a lot of out of body experience when I was very, very young. And when I was very, very young, I can see something that nobody can see it. So, which also lead to why I become who I am, why I'm so rebel. Because when I was in high school, I told my teacher that, "Oh, yeah, last night what I saw in the dormitory," and my teacher was freaked out. And later on, I got like like kind of like a mental therapy because they thought something wrong with me because the world is as normal as you can thought. How can you even see something? It's like Ghostbuster experience. You saw something came out of the wall and some abnormal activities in your rooms, and they think, yeah, maybe there's some delusions. So every lunchtime, I had to go to the mental doctors and talk to the mental doctors for an hour when I was in high school. And also because, a lot of pressure, social pressure, and I happen to study in the most conservative girls' high school in Taiwan. And so that's why my teacher wanted me to study on myself, on my own in library. And when there's a test or there's a exam, which require me to go back to classroom, then I will go back. So during my childhood, pretty much I study on my own and pretty much
Wow. I'm going to back
isolate.
you up a little
Yeah.
further. So Taiwan, you started in Taiwan,
Yeah.
and And as a little kid, so pre-high school, were
Hmm.
you an art person? Were you a tech person? What'd you play with? What made you happy?
I think I like painting. I like drawing, and also my mom, like kind of like sent me to the music. You know, all the Asian kids, they all know one or two instrument, and I'm one of them. So yeah, I learned piano and I learned guitar and violin. So those are kind of like my mom's wheel, right? Like, oh, now she has some savings. She want her daughter to learn some music instrument, which she couldn't had the opportunity in the past. So yeah, so I was learning all the art, music in the past. So I was more like the art person, but I was really good at math when I was in high school and junior high school. But my mom doesn't want me to do something too harsh. She thought like, girls, all you need to do is just marry somebody and get a stable job like an art teacher. So that's why she want me to be as relaxing and as stable and as nobody as possible. Yeah, so that's my
It's
mom.
interesting because we've had a lot of guests who've had the opposite journey that they want to do creative and their parents want them to do math, want them to do engineering, want them to do business. But it does remind me, I taught for 22 years at UCLA, and I had students whose parents want that they were females and their parents were very uncomfortable with them being in college, them learning business. They wanted them doing something that was either more domestic or be home, or in
Yeah,
one case to be they were had been a ballerina, and that their family was very unhappy that they wanted to go from ballet into business. So we have the story can go all sorts of directions and a lot of
yeah.
family expectations. So let's go
Mm,
back to this
yeah.
visioning of you. So
Mm.
you were at a live-in high school then,
Yeah, in a dormitory. Yeah.
in a dormitory. And so if you don't mind us sharing,
Yeah, yeah.
what did you see?
Oh, wow, that is very crazy. It's like when I was very young, I can see, the Stranger Things, right?
Hmm.
Stranger Things, Elle, she closed her eyes and she can see the entire room. It's reality, but it has a shader or, a filter, but it's a dark gray. I can see the same, like when I close my eyes, for example, if it is my past, then I can see the room was filtered out in a dark green and the room has some interesting beings there. But if I go outside, because my soul is out of my body, I believe I what I see was real. The reason why I believe it is because I can connect to something that was crazy. For example, like when my uncle passed away, I can communicate with him and I knew things before everybody told me. And it feels like, wow, I can understand something that beyond humans' knowledge. So I do believe that maybe there is something there which was not a hallucination, which was real. So for that room, for example, when I was when I was very young, I can see myself like fifth grade. I saw myself laying on the bed, but when I see another world, it usually has a sh- kind of drunk types of um kind of situation. It's like I sleep, but I can feel like I am in a certain weird moment, and later on, even though when I close my eyes, I can see myself wandering in the room, but the room is very dark, and there is some weird beings, and I usually floated on the ceiling, and if I float out, it's another different world. It's not this this room. Outside of room is entire like a weird world, and you can tell that world is feels a little dead. Yeah, but it's like like if you want to go somewhere, you just think of it and you can be there and you can see human beings activities under you. So it's kind of like, yeah, crazy. So yeah, and yeah, high school thing is very crazy, and it's kind of changed my entire life, make myself more like a self-learner, because I start realize you don't need teacher. You can just study everything on your own, and you can still get a really high grades.
So this makes me think of about 25 things and could be an entire conversation on its own. Back when I was growing up, my sister and I both went to the Stanford Research Institute and were tested for ESP. And we went through kind of this whole visioning thing. And I was normal. My sister,
Oh,
who is a wonderful, fabulous woman, had tested really, really high for ESP. And
oh,
so, but went to, could she see things that were not in front of her and
mm,
actually had a fairly high rating and ranking, which
oh,
she may not remember at this point in time. But I remember that whole experience for it. And there was a program I went to fairly recently where this one fabulous artist was commenting that if you ask her to think of things, draw or envision, let's say, a treehouse, what she will see in her mind's eye is totally different than what everybody else sees. And it's a
mm,
complete vision, a complete thing to see. That is the way she sees the world. So there is really different ways in seeing and engaging with the world that we don't tend to acknowledge as much. And a lot of people who are artistic, and you're artistic, but in all sorts of interesting different ways. So this is fascinating. So from that experience, did you go to college?
yes, I went to college, and I don't know why my heart is that I want to go to, I want to leave Taiwan. It's interesting that I feel like, because you see, if you are different, because in Asia's education, you need to be the same as other people. And in America or in other country outside of Taiwan, is that they encourage you to be different. So when I was in Taiwan, when I tell people that I think I can see things and people are scared. But when I came to America and I told people and they feel like, oh, tell me more. It's like very exciting. So yeah, I do like the I would say open mind, and also yeah, I mean when I go to college, I just learn as much as I can, and I know I want to get out of Taiwan. So, yeah, just study English, and also trying to join like some scholarship and see if I can study abroad. I have two bachelor degrees. One was fine art and teaching. Both of my parents were teachers, retired elementary school teachers. My mom taught one same textbook for over 25 years. And yeah, I
That would
mean,
make me nuts.
yeah. The interesting thing about it is that I am totally the different animals from my family, because my mom loved to do kind of like the same textbook. There's a right answer, and I'm totally different. I just feel tired of doing the same thing and so strict mind. So that's why I don't, even though I got the teacher degree back in Taiwan, fine art teacher degree, but I got scholarship studying art center, and then like graphic design, which my mom doesn't want me to do, but I got it. I escaped, and yeah, I got degree, and later on got H1B green card sponsored by working opportunity, and last year I got my citizenship. So yeah, so I'm pretty much rooted here.
So when was Art Center?
Oh, 2008.
2008. So then you got your degree, your second degree from the Art Center, and then what was your next adventure?
My oh, you mean like after our center, right? After our center, I really want to stay here, so I want to get, I mean, stable job, and just to just work, and my company sponsor my green card and citizenship. But the thing usually not go that smooth, and I had to transfer two companies for my green card sponsor. So during that time, I told myself that, yeah, it's great to have an entity, which means have your own thing. Because I feel like when I was in the getting visa, that stage, I feel pretty much being caged or something. Because you couldn't leave the company and you need to, and there's no room to grow because people will pay you the lowest pay, right? And expect you to get the highest performance and pretty much wear out. But I told myself that if I can get, all the visa sponsored, I would definitely want to start my own thing and just to create something. It's just the desire, it's kind of added up. And also, kind of like on the side, I really, after trying the Game Jam and also trying the Gear VR, I told myself, wow, because long time ago when I was in high school, I want to explain what I saw in the past. Like, oh, the ghosts, right? Like, what are they? Like, what's the experience? But when I wear that VR goggle, I feel like, wow, this is the media that introduce people to know what I feel, what I be there at that moment. So I told myself, wow, this is a great media. I want to introduce people to this world. It's not really, I would say, Matrix and art, like a virtual reality, are very similar. I think if somebody can see ghosts or can see something, like not human thing, that's the matrix from the creator. It's just different dimensions. But the VR or AR is the artificial matrix. Is made by human. One is made by creator, which probably are much better or much more creative. But I think maybe we can start with man-made reality. Yeah, so that's kind of my thought, and slowly we will be accept that something is there, and later on, if someone claim that they can see some weird things, and we won't kind of feel they are weird and send them to the doctors, mental doctors, something.
Or it's a way to have the conversation. There's several people I've met who have PTSD, and they have built in VR what they see inside because they see a different world that they're reacting to with PTSD, and they've built that out so that they can walk other people through what they see. So there are lots of really interesting projects looking at the fact we do all see the world differently and don't have a way to talk about it. And there's some really excellent mental health and ways to kind of explain through VR. A lot of great programs in that regard. So you ended up at as a contractor for Meta. How the heck did you end up as a contractor for Meta?
Yeah, back in 2020, I remember during that time, government gave a lot of free money, free payroll, like just give the big companies and wish them can hire more people. And I think I was during that time that all the big companies was hiring crazy. So yeah, I remember I just interviewed one round and I get it. Yeah, which is
But you
very
already
kind
were
of
built.
like,
You had a portfolio by then, right?
yeah, I've already had portfolio. I started learning Unity back in 2017. Yeah, just like I learned by teaching because I remember during that time I still have Monday to Friday I have full-time job, but I told myself I couldn't just stuck there. I need to do something outside of my 40 hours full-time job. So in the morning, Saturday, I told myself Saturday I need to produce something. So what I did was I bought a Unity kind of 24 hours, like a workshop book. So every week, Saturday morning, I spend 4 hours study one chapter of the Unity. And during the noon time, I eat my lunch. And then after that, I start teaching. I just told myself, just go. And I record it and I post on YouTube. If I struggle, then that's my problem. So it made me focus so well because you know that sometimes if we are under a huge pressure and must learn and after learn it and after teach it, I feel like my brain just know everything so well. Yeah, like after that one day, I feel like, wow, I learned so much. And for the tutorials, somehow, sometimes I can hit a lot of like views. I remember the hottest one I got is 31K views and about 100 likes. So, and one of my videos was even featured on Eighth Wall's official website when they were not even doing any tutorials super long time ago. So yeah, so I feel like yeah, I'm keeping doing this and I'm kind of helping people. Yeah, so it was start with I think I learn much better by teaching. So that's why yeah, and I grew
And you
kind
built
of
a
like
community too. I mean, you
yeah.
have, I mean, you've got something like 16,000 followers on LinkedIn. You have
Mm,
lots of people on YouTube that you built a following that a lot of people have been scrambling to try to build by
yeah.
teaching other people what you've learned.
Yeah. And the interesting thing is that at the beginning, if you see my YouTube and if you see my LinkedIn, the interesting thing is that I'm not even trying so hard to figure out what's the algorithm, what day and time is the best for the thing. I think the community just naturally build up. Yeah, and at the end, right now, this year, I'm thinking about how can I monetize it? Because I know we have a huge community. We have 6,000 members in Meetup. We have 5 types of different meetups. Yeah, and yeah, so yeah, it's interesting. And a lot of people are asking, I got a lot of requests like, how can I learn XR? Do you provide web XR teaching workshops? And yeah, I just feel like how can I create a lot of good, useful courses to kind of like not only monetize but also help the community. So that's kind of my next thing. We start from bottom up. Yeah.
Well, I'm going to pause for a second mentally. So,
Yeah.
XReality Academy you launched, but even in the midst of that, you had a production company. So you've got
Yeah. Hummingbirdsday.
Hummingbirdsday. You have Hummingbirdsday where you're producing content. You have a mentoring company too, yes?
Oh, mentoring company.
Or that you're working and we're
Oh,
doing
it's
one-to-one
yeah, it's the design lab, which I
design.
was kind of the mentor there for 3 years. Pretty much is kind of like if somebody book my time, yeah, then I kind of like help them for design lab students.
And then you were working for Meta, and you were then also trying to build on the back end. Because when
Don't
you
tell
and I first
anybody,
when
even though
you
I
and I
left.
met, you thought that some kind of a wonderful learning platform was going to be part of the solution here. And we were talking at the beginning that there are for people to go, this is fabulous. I would love to learn. This is somewhat of a crowded space. Um, that there's people who are charging, let's
Yeah,
say, $8,000 for a track of classes, and there's people charging $2,000 and people charging $49. And
yeah,
and people who are offering everything they know on YouTube for free, and people who are on Patreon who then are being paid out through Patreon. There's people on Substack. So there is not a dearth of people teaching. There's possibly a dearth of good community
mm,
and a dearth of stuff. And one of the challenges here, a dearth of staying up to date because things are changing so fast right now.
yeah.
So, you were initially putting together a great learning management system platform where people would come in and they would pay to both have learning and mentorship. And that was your XReality Academy idea. Can you talk a bit more about what spurred you to that and what you've learned from that adventure?
Yes. So before my thought was I start creating XReality meetup. The first meetup, my thought was because I was living in Burbank, Valley Village, around Burbank that
In
time
Southern California. Yeah,
in
yeah.
Southern California. I've been living in LA for probably about 15 years. Yeah, so during that time, every time when I wanna join XR Meetup, I need to drive 2 hours or 1 hour to Santa Monica and then join an event and I drive back and it's usually rush hours. So sometimes when I drive there and the entire event was kind of finished and it's everyone was gone. So I was thinking about why not just create a meetup in Burbank, right? And during that time, Burbank there's no XR event. So I even kind of like got a dedicated desk in WeWork. And the reason why I got WeWork is because I want to host in-person event. And I still remember the first like meetup. I bought a lot of pizza. I bought a lot of drinks, and we had like 11 people sit in the very fancy WeWork meeting rooms, and I was putting everything on the slide and on the projectors. That was the first one. And then and I just told myself that, yeah, I mean, I just love like sharing XR, what's new. So I just told myself, yeah, every week I want to just show up and see if anybody want to show up. So yeah, start with like I usually kind of start preparing some news or some presentation every week, and I host in person during that time. But later on, because of COVID, we start become virtual, and virtual is actually better because people who couldn't join in person, they join it. And I remember during that time, I just keep creating a lot of tutorials and also creating a lot of like events, and sometimes we have a speaker event, which allows me to know tons of people. Like before our meeting, I even talked to a ultra leap before it was leap motion, and we were talking about how can we create some cool, hackathon together. So yeah, so just because of all the just I think it's out of passion. Just keep creating it. I find out opportunity sometimes just fall to me. The reason why is because people know me. Yeah, and there's a role. Somebody said it for like a Chinese YouTuber kind of mentioned that he estimated if you want somebody to pay you like $100 for your service, you need to give them at least 10 hours of your content for free. So I was kind of like thinking about, wow, I want to put as many content out there and I don't want to spend I mean, I know that I can do a lot of like editing. I can do a lot of really fancy productions, but I remember Gary Vee said that, oh, start with quantity. And later on, if you start getting revenue and follow the quality. So this one was because I feel like, wow, after so many bad, the sound, sometimes like I remember Jim sometimes always said that, hey Dom, I feel like there's a tornado on your end because the mic was so bad. So that's why I changed to a better mic. So yeah, so it was start like that and later on grow
Well, and you
big. Yeah.
also ask. So one thing that I find your choice of guests on, because you have your Saturday morning at 9 a.m. Pacific, you have here's this week's news, and it's a kind of you're the center post, but somewhat crowdsourced with Jim as one of the key hosts of it. But then you have guests every week, and you're booked out now a couple of months.
Yeah.
But I know, reached out from whether it's events or going onto LinkedIn saying, you look fabulous. Will you come on? But you've got all these people who are coming in and listening, and you now are on LinkedIn Live as well, or with all the tech fabulousness of that. But you ask people, so you find people who are unique voices
Yeah.
and bring them in. So it's not just the tech bros or the people who are famous and
Oh,
speaking all over the place. You have a really diverse and interesting group of people of all sorts of backgrounds that you invite to the table, which I think is fabulous.
yeah, because I believe that everybody has its voice and I can learn a lot of different things from different people. Everybody, even though no matter you got high education, low education, it doesn't matter. There is always something we can learn. It's like I want to make XReality as diverse as possible. So if you see a lot of LinkedIn Live. Everybody can join in, even though college student, they can just unmute themselves and raise the hands. But if you join some more, I would say professional or more, I don't want to say old style, but you see like some seminars, only speaker allows to say things and the audience can just type, right? Because it's a moderator to keep the high quality, something like that. But I think sometimes you see like people work for a huge corporation, they only know that little thing, but really well, like a little tiny thing.
Or
But
the little
for
narrow pipeline that they've the very defined space of what they do.
yeah,
Yeah.
but I heard a lot of like a really interesting conversation, which was from people that I never thought that the person will come up with that interesting insights. So I don't know. I just think that actually, even though you see like you see like extra weekly news and also speaker event, why everybody is talking something, right? And sometimes, the background was bad, but somebody just use iPhone and driving, right? But we kind of want to open and we want to make this as a platform for people to have their voice. Yeah, so it's kind of like that. I know that some people said that, hey, you should kind of more like a moderator. Some people, just block them, don't let them talk or something, just keep high quality. But I do think that, yeah, I mean, sometimes XR people, why XR transfer so slow, right? Maybe it's because we don't really listen. We thought like, oh, VR headset is so comfortable. But for a lot of people, they feel like it's not comfortable. And we kind of block those people that tell what they really think. And we only want to hear what we want to hear. So that's why, like, I think filter is great, right? But maybe there is some point that we open something that can help us to grow faster. So that's my thought.
So at this point in time, you have folded your assets and relationships largely into the XReality Pro community, and so that people can subscribe to get content and mentoring. What is the current model other than your
Oh,
fabulous meetups?
yeah. Right now we are still figuring out how to monetize. We are starting with B2C. We want to get into B2B. Yeah. And right now what we have is we have hackathon and we have workshop. Workshop is paid. Right now we have just like you said that we like to do something that is kind of more like experimental because once the things start being more everybody knows it and a lot of YouTube channels start working on it, then I don't know why people wanna pay for some different person saying the same thing.
I don't know, because
So
I do think that people need their hands held, and I think that is
ah
some of the that do they need the mentor side of it, not just I can watch a YouTube video.
hmm,
Um, but yeah, because I think that there's the edge, but then it's like there's, I don't know, thousands of Blender videos on how to get started on Blender, and they
yeah,
all
right.
get views as people are going, I need my handheld for
Ah
complex things. So right now we're in October of 2023. We are in uh, the post initial launch of the Quest 3,
hmm,
and we are ahead of the sometime in 2024
hmm,
Apple Vision Pro. So, for an example, you are, I think, just wrapping up your fourth session of a 4-week Apple Vision Pro workshop on how to build for that. And you're really at the cutting edge there. By the time when someone hears this, we'll be further along that journey. But you're really trying to teach near the edge of the new. Can you share a little bit of your thought process in building these new programs?
yeah, so first one, I can tell you that for me, I am not the person who know how to do curriculum design. I learned how to create curriculum by buying books. And I bought like how to create a project-based, goal-oriented curriculum. I read a couple pages and I start realize that, oh, wow. So I learn by reading and while I'm reading, I'm designing. So that was I think for me, I like to get my hands dirty and start learning how to do things and grow up. I know a lot of people, they have like a, business mindsetting, or they have MBA, and they start doing top down, right? Oh, I partner with a lot of people, get investor, and I start building something. Oh, I need an audience. I have a product and I need audience. And right now we are the opposite. We have the big audience. Now we need product. So, but it's also a good thing because we have people. So right now, what I did was, we've already finished Vision OS workshop. What I did was like, oh, I want to learn Vision OS. Let's create a workshop and see if anybody. Let's try again. Oh, oh, um,
She's talking to you. Something's always talking to me in my house here, no matter what.
yeah.
So
Okay. Yeah, I think a Siri just, I don't know,
she
whatever,
thought you were
some
asking
reason.
something.
Yeah, yeah, okay. So, yeah, the interesting thing is that when I wanna do something and I know that I am a fast learner, I can figure it out. So we start putting the event out there because I was like, if nobody wanna pay for it, well, I kind of post like a 4 hours and then $99, and I was just testing the market. And I found 7 people pay and buy it, and very looking forward to it. Very exciting. And we also got some members who wanna get into, and we got a lot of like attractions, and even people
And you're
when I
offering the video afterwards as well. So people aren't
yeah
just getting 4 hours, but they're getting it so they can rewatch it and understand and engage. And
yeah, and we for that workshop, I even attract people who are the actual pro. Jamie, he launched at least 20 iOS apps, AR apps, and right now he's very interested in being our cohort 2 teachers. And for me, I was like, I'm a very fast learner, and I am kind of like learn, and every hour, because I was doing the reason why I doing 1 hour per week and 4 weeks was because when I was doing the ticket sale, I only have week 1 material, and so I have to every week allows me to prepare the next week. So yeah, now we have a really good 4 course, and we got a lot of feedback. For example, right now I've already visited Apple's headquarters and try Vision Pro. It was pretty good. And I also got 2 invitations for the upcoming 2 sessions. One is more like a streaming videos. The other one is the AR kit, full body experience, which nobody can do it. If you go to YouTube, nobody can do it. Yeah, because there's no simulator. You only can simulate the normal one, but full body, there's I asked them that, can you do a full body like a simulator? And the Apple people said that no, you have to come to lab and try it, because it's impossible to build on iOS, Mac, because those system are different. So that's why I feel like, wow, I have a privilege to live in San Francisco. I can visit Meta, Apple, Google's headquarters pretty often, and it's just around the corner. So I think, wow, and for me, I love to explore something unknown. I like to just make myself so frustrated. I don't know, I enjoy like, oh God, I couldn't figure it out. Why? What's going on? And later on I figure it out, I feel good. So
so you have such a high risk tolerance compared to a lot of people that you're willing to step off the curb, off the cliff, and just make it happen. Um, which is fabulous. Are you doing creative work as well now? You're building. Are you building creatively, and what inspires you creatively right now?
I think the thing that inspires me is that how can I make something that really make people delight people, or make people feel like, for example, when I create hackathon, I feel like right now this is our first time partner with Ships XR. I mean, I met with Inga, the CEO of Ships XR. Feel like, wow, the person, she's so wonderful. When I was at Connect, it was like a shiny, very hot day, and she looked at me and she wear hat and wear sunglasses. And she said, "Oh, you have nothing. Let me give you my hat because this is too hot." And I feel, it's like a sense of human. I mean, I think, I do know that we need monetization, but I feel like I like to do something that makes me feel like, wow, I'm doing something right, or I feel like, wow, there's a human element in. It's not just purely transactional, like, oh, I help you to get XYZ of, income and I get 10%, like too transactional. But I like to, hey, we do something long term, right? So what can I help? And also, I think, um, yeah, like remember last time, I don't know whether you were there or not, we had a speaker event with Christopher Lafayette. And
Mm-hmm.
I remember I asked him one question. Since everything will be automate, be AI-ish pretty fast, what can human do? Yeah, like, and he answered a pretty good question. He said that, yeah, so you see, we have a lot of problems, right? We have like a drug addiction, we have poverty, we have war, so many wars, and we have climate, global warming. Yeah, all those are problems, and we need a lot of humans to solve the problem. Maybe we can get universal basic income from government, and we collaboratively solve the big issue. Yeah, I think, yeah, actually, that's kind of a good thing. And I feel like, yeah, like, I think the world, maybe because I can see things, so I feel like the world is made of frequency. I know there's a money or material side on the human beings side. We need to make sure we are getting good material support so we can survive, we can breathe. But I think the mind is important. So I think if I can do something great and make people involved feel great, and I also can pay my bill, I'm happy.
So we've covered a lot. We could talk about any of these things in great detail, and I love that you mentioned Christopher Lafayette because I think that he also has sort of no fear, pulls things together, just goes out and builds stuff, and then is kind of building on the fly. Fabulous example of people and the type of people that it's great that you could reach out to with this stuff. What have we not talked about? Anything that you'd want to
um,
mention that we haven't talked about?
I think pretty much we talk a lot. Yeah, I don't know. Like, what do you wanna ask?
Well, I'm going to be intrigued. I've been talking with you and watching you now for about a year and a half, and I'm really intrigued as to where you're going to go, where this builds out for you, because you are kind of built metaphorically building the plane as you're flying it, that you are testing and moving forward and staying just ahead of the curve on a lot of this stuff and bringing people with you, which is fabulous. So I think we've covered again. We and any of the things we could talk in, ad infinitum. And if people do want to talk with you, they can find you on YouTube. They can find you on LinkedIn, LinkedIn Live, Meetup. Can you give a few tidbits about how people can find you, and then who you want to find you right now?
Oh, wow. You can find me on LinkedIn. I'm very like a responsive for LinkedIn if you send me message, or you can reach out to me. Yeah, I think LinkedIn is the best, or my email, or sometimes I would check the Discord or Meetup message, but I would
And what
say,
what are the meetups called for them to find you? Because it's not under your name. It's
oh,
called it's X
XReality.
Reality.
Yeah, pretty much you type XReality Meetup, it will show up very like the top three. So yeah,
And
so
and and on YouTube, you're under X Reality as well.
yes,
Yes.
XReality
So
Academy or XReality Pro. Yeah, it's
all sorts of ways to find you. And we'll have this all in the show notes as well. And who would you like to reach out?
wow. I like to reach out to Elon Musk. I mean, I just yeah, I know like he is a controversial person, but I really admire that he can pull everything together. Like going to Mars, I know a lot of people kind of feel like, oh, it's a conspiracy, you just it's like a lot of people have negative thoughts about him, but I do think that he do contribute a lot of, like, for example, space area, car area, Tesla, and also Twitter. He changed Twitter's like totally. Yeah, I mean, yeah, I mean, if I can meet Elon Musk, it's in my bucket
How about
list.
how about future students and future partners for
Oh,
XReality? So, if folks want to do hackathons with you, that they could reach out, both as participants as well as companies.
oh yes. Actually, I just saw um kind of like a invitation to Apple when I visit to Reality Lab. I was requesting 10 Vision Pro after it launched. 10 Vision Pro and Apple's headquarter. I wanna create a hackathon. Very ambitious. Create a hackathon for
Oh, very
medical
cool.
XR. Because one of my business advisor, he he had a medical startups on his own, and he raised like a few $1 million. And he is based in Switzerland, so he got a lot of access to medical startup or institution. So he told me that if I can get Meta or Apple on board, he said it's very easy for him to get a lot of sponsors for the event. And basically, we based in Silicon Valley, so a lot of people might be interested in seeing the Silicon Valley developers create apps or XR solutions for medical companies. So he said money is not the problem. He said, I just have to get the big player jump in. So I am kind of like drafting the pitch to Meta. Yeah, and yeah, I mean, Meta, Apple, and medical field or medical institution. And right now, I think Ultraleap are interested in getting in. So just medical XR hackathon, that would be fun. Oh, Ultraleap.
I've been an early leap motion girl from the start of things. The one thing we actually haven't talked about, otherwise I would swing to a lovely close here, is you're not just in the world of mixed reality. So I do want to mention briefly, or have you mention, that you've also opened up the conversations into artificial intelligence, correct?
Yes, yes. Right now, all the XR weekly news are talking about AI, XR, and chips. Chips was mostly provided by Gene.
So if people want to hear the current everything going on, they can either live watch at 9 o'clock Pacific on Saturdays or watch it on LinkedIn Live and hear what's currently happening each week. So all the news that's fit to digitally print from Dominique and her large corral of friends. So thank you for joining us and thank you for being on this show. And hopefully all the right people will tap you on the shoulder and want to play. So all good stuff.
Cool. Thank you so much for
Cool.
inviting me. Yeah, thank you.